My wonderful, beautiful, amazing Geminis. I'm Gabriella from Gabriella's Vampire Tarot. For this week, we're going to be doing the 6 card spread titled The Coffin Spread. So, here's the death card, and this is going to be always going to be in the center of the coffin read. And normally, it's understandable to realize how death is part of any kind of coffin reading because any kind of person who passes away or is deceased, often is placed in a coffin. But when it comes to tarot, it's pretty much an act of rebirthing and stuff like that. So, but anyway, if you look at the icon thumbnail and stuff like that, because pretty soon I'm going to be, going back to, different types of camera views and stuff like that. But anyway, as you'll see how, the cards are laid out sort of like in the form of a coffin. But anyway, it's like if you got a chance to watch your previous zodiac reading, it's like I'm going to be reading, 6 questions. I'm going to be drawing 6 cards, and then we'll just see if any of these questions will resonate with any kind of guidance that I could offer for you. So, but anyway, we'll start with question 1. What has a hold on you right now? The Hanged Man, Pisces energy. So what do we know about Hanged Man and what it has a hold on you? Is that, you pretty much, you're overthinking something, or maybe you're pondering or doing a lot of self-reflection on some kind of voyage requests and stuff like that. It's good, to actually be having a general overview and just to think about any kind of like thoughts or feelings, sensations you may be having. I mean, my goodness. I mean, well, this is an interesting macabre card, isn't it? But the thing is, yeah, it's like you could definitely be in a real strong thought process right now. And I think, okay, it's really good to sometimes, just be thinking about it. It's like before you even, create any kind of plan like the King or Queen of Swords and stuff like that, is to always be thinking first before you act. I mean, a lot of people, they like to sometimes take the leap of faith and see where it lands, right? But here it's pretty much just thinking, okay, I'm just going to just, we'll have this general idea, and then we're going to see how we can start taking the steps into creating and manifesting this kind of like plan or goal or what have you and stuff. So, okay. Now we get to question number 2. How can you release your spirit? Ooh, the divine, also known as the High Priestess, by using common sense in other ways. So I feel like, it's really important, to actually, maybe ask other people for advice, maybe looking at what other people have done in their past, but also look at, your own past and the thinking, it's like, how can I process something? How can I do some self-evaluations, general overviews, what have you? Because the divine is definitely the High Priestess with her upper book of knowledge, and with any kind of past experiences, any kind of like big experiences, any kind of learning moments that you really just thought, okay, how can I guarantee that this plan of mine is going to be successful this time? So, and it's also your soul senses and intuition that are also part of this card as well. Now we get to question number 3. How can you release your mind? Strength. Remind yourself of your confidence and stuff like that. Because the thing is, it's like a lot of humans, they tend to kind of lack faith. Of course, it's a Leo card. Maybe you have Leo placements, or even Cancer, Pisces. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. But the point is, it's just to, remind yourself of your strengths and your amazing qualities. Because the thing is, with any kind of plan, a lot of humans, they're a bit too modest in the sense where they're a bit too, they're too afraid. Let's put it that way. They're too afraid to even approach any kind of plan or idea because they're worried about it. And maybe, it's like you've been faced with nothing but negativity or setbacks in the past where you just think, you know what? I tried it. I'm not going to do it again. I mean, to each their own. Your own personal prerogative in many ways. But anyway, it's pretty much just kind of thinking, okay, but it's also good to just kind of, just remind yourself of who you are and why you actually chose this plan in the first place. Then we get to question number 4. Where can you find guidance into a new light? The Chariot. Cancer energy. So it's by actually, people boarding this beautiful opportunity and trying something. Because the thing is, it's like nothing ventured is nothing gained. The thing is, you can always, talk yourself out of any kind of situation, and then you're not going to ever gain that experience. For the divine, also known as the High Priestess, in the way of thinking, it's like, how can you actually gain so much experience from the positives, where you can actually think, oh yeah, I enjoyed this, to the negatives where you think, how can we avoid it for next time, and what did we learn? So that's why, it's like, in order to actually, achieve this light, I mean, this is interesting. It's like, my goodness. Yep. Well, you see the, the fingerprints and stuff. My goodness, it's kind of a creepy card. But anyway, I first thought it was like headlights for a moment. But anyway, yeah, it's just by, just by, going about this idea and just trying something. So, and then we get to question number 5. What obstacles will you face? The ethereal, also known as the Empress, Virgo energy. Okay, so yeah, the obstacles that you could be facing is new beginnings. You don't know what to expect, you don't know anything, and maybe that's what's putting you in a position of thinking, I don't know if I want to go through with this new voyage, this new job interview, this new, even trying out a new, dining environment, from eating a new dish to drinking a different beverage and stuff like that, because you just don't know what to expect. A lot of humans, they're more into their creature comforts in this, because they're, guaranteed a beautiful outcome, in the sense of thinking, I know it's going to taste good, I know exactly what to expect. So that's why a lot of humans, they kind of stick to their own personal, experience grounds, without realizing, to think, well, I'm not really growing, from this and stuff like that, because by trying out new things, then you actually gain new insight. Then you can actually think, oh, wow, well, maybe next year I want to try out that dining area. Or maybe next year I want to try out that dish. Or maybe next time I might try this or might try that. And then you actually start expanding it, rather than just kind of keeping your own tiny little ideas in a small, confined space, and thinking, okay, this is safe because we are, this is, what we're used to and stuff like that. And we're, in a comfortable position. But then you won't actually be able to even experience the positive sides either. So, because it sort of reminds me a bit of Plato's Cave, if you know any of that, but anyway, I'll let you be the one to look it up, because I don't want to be, boring too much and diverting away from the tarot reading and stuff like that. But anyway, then we'll get to question number 6. What awaits you on the other side? You're not going to give up, with the 9 of Bones, also known as 9 of Wands. Mwah, fabulous. And I love to see this, because the thing is, it's like, by not giving up, you'll eventually, experience all kinds of new moments, occasions, and stuff like that. And these actually make for, also, fun and entertaining, stories for your friends. If you ever feel like, oh goodness, we don't really have much to talk about, or you want to actually share something to give, somebody, your own personal experience and stuff like that. So this is pretty much, that, you're going to go about it. You're going to be exhausted beyond belief. Maybe you do need to overcome so much personal energy within yourself, where you think, oh goodness, it's like I need to really mentally prepare myself for having to get out the door, or even getting in my vehicle, or even getting onto this public transportation, or even walking over to this place, or trying out this new thing. But as long as there's still hope within you, that's the most important thing, is that you have that desire to want to do something, and not just think, I'm just going to, will not do anything. But of course, to each their own, and always, we'll realize, it's like, don't do anything dangerous and anything, without maybe proper supervision or proper real, actual experience and stuff like that. But other than that, that's what the reading has, and especially with the Death card in the center, this is all about rebirthing and entering into this new phase. So congratulations on at least overcoming, and just reminding yourself of your strengths and your amazing qualities with the Strength card of Leo card. And then hopefully, you'll actually, will gain a lot of insight, especially from the divine. Okay. Well, my beautiful, amazing Gemini placements, thank you so much for joining me in this beautiful evening. As you could see, I have my tiara on, or my crown, and I also have the veil covered and the traditional necklace I normally wear, and this time I was also wearing gloves for this week's occasion to kind of change it up a bit. But thank you so much for joining me in this beautiful evening. But lately it's been kind of stormy. I don't know if you guys have experienced any similar weather conditions, but other than that, I love you guys incredibly. Again, thank you so much for joining me, and as per usual, take excellent good care of yourselves.